Hello everyone, Soberoni of G&A Reviews here, bringing you another event guide. This time we're going to be taking a look at the upcoming Valentines event in FGO NA, a not-so-ordinary Valentines. This event is going to be open to everyone who's completed Fuyuki already, so even newer players will be able to participate and farm this event. As with all of my guides, this is going to be a very in-depth look at the event, covering everything from the new servants to the best farming strategies. So to make things easier, I've included timestamps in the description down below, so you can jump ahead to whichever part of the video you need the most. And with all of that said, if you're looking forward to a very unusual Valentine's event, make sure you hit that like button, ring my bell, and subscribe so you can catch all of my videos as they go up, and you can help out the channel. But for now, let's take a look at the new event servants. Well, make that servant singular, because there's only going to be one new servant coming with this event, and that's the new limited archer, Sei Shanagon. Sei is a 5-star archer with a max attack of 12,218 and a max HP of 12,965. She has an AoE quick noble phantasm, and she serves as an excellent wave clearer or farmer, especially in Scotty teams. I do have a full servant spotlight on Sei that goes into much greater detail on all of her attributes, so if you want to know more about her, I'll have that linked in the description down below. But in addition to Sei, we also have rate-ups for two 4-star servants, Marie and Shiba. Marie is a decent 4-star rider who provides a lot of tankiness and utility to the team, while Shiba can be an excellent pickup if you're in the market for an offensive caster that's capable of killing assassin enemies. Aside from those three though, there's also going to be rate-ups for all of the non-limited female servants. That includes story-locked female servants like Lancer Artoria as well. However, I don't really recommend rolling for any of these other female servants because all of them will be sharing a banner with Sei, which means your chances of rolling them are going to be cut in half. Instead, you're better off waiting until we get that free 5-star ticket or until they have a solo rate up. While we may be lacking on new servants for this event, one thing that we do have plenty of is new command codes and craft essences. There are going to be 3 new CEs added to the gacha. First up, we have the 3-star Midnight Tension. This CE increases NP damage and HP recovery by 5%, and it also increases pinwheel drops by 1 or 2 if you max limit break it. Outside of the event, this isn't really that good of a CE, however, it can be useful on offensive single target servants since it does give full attack stats, so it can be good on Uriel, Robin Hood, or Medea. Next up, we have the 4-star Queen's Dream. This CE increases crit damage by 15% and buffs success rate by 10%. It'll also increase the ball drops by 1 or 2 if you max limit break it. Again, another niche CE outside of the event, however, it can work on some crit servants that have RNG skills like Lan Ling, Ozymandias, and Skahak. And the last of the gacha CEs is the 5-star Chocolate Heaven, which increases quick card effectiveness and NP damage by 10%, as well as NP gain by 15%. It also increases the fan drops for the event by 1 or 2 if you max limit break it. Now this CE is very strong even outside of the event, and it is perfect for any kind of quick NP spammer like Kama, Melt, or Ushi. There's also going to be a free 5-star event CE that you can purchase from the event shop, which is Knit the Love. It grants Ignore Evasion and also increases NP damage by 10%, as well as grants 30% starting NP charge at the beginning of the battle. For this event, it will also increase the Sparkle Point drops by 30% or 60% if you max limit break it, and since the CE does give starting NP charge, it can be useful for any kind of farming servant who needs to NP right away, like Sei, Jason, or Da Vinci Lily. Moving on to the command codes, we have the 3-star Himeji Bat. This command code removes 1 crit damage up buff when attacking when you use the engraved card, and it also recovers 100 HP when attacking with the engraved card. This is a very niche command code, but you can put it on your tanky supports like Mosh, Hans, and John. The 4-star command code is Jin's Lamp. It inflicts burn on an enemy when attacking with the engraved card, and it also generates 2 crit stars when attacking with the engraved card as well. This is pretty much the perfect command code for Yang if you have her. Otherwise, you can put this command code on another burn-focused servant like Tomoe. And finally, the 5-star command code is Lady in Waiting of Wisteria. This command code increases damage against demonic enemies by 20% when attacking with the engraved card. Obviously, this is going to be great on anyone who already has anti-demonic damage, like Murasaki, Rama, or Caster Shuten. As usual, this event will also feature an event shop with 3 different currencies: the pinwheels, the balls, and the fan. Pinwheels can be traded in for 1 copy of the event CE, as well as Magatamas, Forbidden Chains, Stakes, Foes, 3-star and 4-star EXP, and quick card openers. The balls can be traded in for yet another copy of the event shop CE, as well as Reverse Dragon Scales, Aurora Steel, Stingers, Archer, Rider, and Berserker pieces, 4-star foes, and Buster code opener. And finally, the fans can be traded in for 2 copies of the event shop CE, as well as Comet Shards, Reactors, Bells, Archer, Assassin, and Berserker monuments, 4-star foes, and arts card openers. On top of those currencies though, at the end of the event, you can also trade in any unused chocolate for 100,000 QP each. In total, if you plan on buying out the entire shop, you're going to need 3,800 pinwheels, 3,050 balls, and 3,800 fans. I should also mention that only 4 copies of the event shop CE are going to be purchasable from the event, and there aren't going to be any additional CEs on the ladder, which in my opinion is pretty stingy. So if you do want to max limit break this event CE, unfortunately you're just going to have to get lucky with a drop while you're farming. And speaking of chocolate, let's take a look at the event mechanics, which just so happen to revolve around chocolate. There are actually a few different mechanics for this event. Firstly, the event is structured around a point ladder, very similar to last year's Valentine's event. Every time you complete a free quest, you're going to be rewarded with a certain amount of sparkle points. After certain milestones are reached, you're going to be rewarded with various materials depending on how many sparkle points you have. These materials can include ascension mats, QP, command codes, lores, and of course, chocolates. You're going to need 3 million points in order to clear the entire ladder, after which any additional points that you earn won't count toward anything. And yes, as I mentioned, you will earn chocolates as rewards for reaching certain points in the ladder. There are going to be 3 different types of chocolates: lock-on chocolates, surprise chocolates, and friend chocolates. Surprise chocolates can be used from the event shop screen to get a Valentine's CE and cutscene from a random servant that you own. For example, if you have Uriel, Drake, and Da Vinci as your only female servants, then using the surprise chocolate will give you a Valentine's cutscene from one of them randomly. You can also use the surprise chocolate to get a cutscene from male servants, so make sure that when you're using it, you choose between male or female, depending on which servant you want to see the Valentine's cutscene for. The lock-on chocolates, on the other hand, are very limited, but they will allow you to choose which servant you want to get a Valentine's from specifically, so you should save these for your favorite servant. I should also note that the Valentine's cutscenes this year are going to be voiced, so make sure that your volume is on when you're watching the scene so that you can hear it and enjoy the voice acting. If you do have a chocolate CE from a servant already from a previous Valentine event and you haven't already seen their voice cutscene, then you can burn that CE or use it as experience fodder so that you can get it again during the event to acquire the voiced cutscene. And finally, the last type of chocolate is the friend chocolate, which is new to the event. Basically, you can use this friend chocolate on the support screen when you're picking your team. Once you pick a friend support and you assemble your team for a quest, you'll have the option to give that friend a friend chocolate. And if you do, they're going to gain an additional 200 friend points when they log in, and you are going to receive 10 mana prism. So it's basically just free stuff for you and your friend. There's no reason to not use these friend chocolates. However, you're only allowed to use them 3 times a day, so make sure that you use them whenever you can so that you can maximize those mana prism rewards. As for the story for this event is intended to be beatable by new players, so it's not difficult at all, and even if you're brand new to the game, you can clear it with just a good friend support. And the reward for clearing all of the story is a grail, so you should definitely do it. Just like with most events, however, unfortunately, there is a time lock, so you won't be able to do it all at once on day 1. New story sections are going to be released every day up until chapter 8, which is the final event quest. This also means that certain free quests won't be available until later on in the event, because those free quests are going to require you to beat certain story missions to unlock them. In other words, the event is time gated, so don't expect everything to be available right away. Now, the crux of this event is of course going to be farming for the currency for the shop, as well as farming for the points. And there are a couple of strategies that you can implement that will make farming much easier. First and foremost, if you happen to get lucky enough to roll Sei, or you have a friend who has Sei, it's important to remember that she has a 100% attack increase for this event. So she's going to be dealing double damage to everything. And in addition, she also gains 50% more bond points. But aside from Sei, you can also use some of the event CEs. All of the gacha CEs are going to increase the currency drops, Midnight Fever will increase pinwheel drops, Queen's Dream will increase the ball drops, and Chocolate Heaven will increase the fan drops. Meanwhile, the event shop CE Knitting Love will increase the sparkle points drops, which are the most important. Another little extra tip to note is that the Valentine CEs that you get from the servants will also increase point drops by 10%. So you can use those until you get all your Knitting Loves from the event shop. In general, I would recommend rolling the friend point gacha to try and get a 3-star CE, which will make your initial farming easier. You're going to want to purchase the event CE from the shop as soon as possible, but don't max limit break it. Keep them separate so that you can maximize the sparkle point drops unless you're fortunate enough to get 8 or more copies. Keep in mind that not all of the free quests are going to be available right away, and the best farming nodes won't even appear for the first few days. So don't go crazy farming right away. Just focus on the story whenever it comes out and complete the free quests that are available until you can purchase the CEs from the shop. Once the 4th story mission comes out, the better farming spots will start to open up. If you're looking for the optimal free quest to farm for each item, the 40 AP Spring node is going to be best for pinwheels, the 40 AP Summer node is going to be best for balls, the Autumn node is going to be the go-to spot for fans, and the most difficult node, the Trendy node, is going to be the best spot to farm sparkling points. This node only opens up after you complete the entire event story though. If you aren't high enough level to complete Trendy, then just farm whichever the most difficult node is that you can complete for the most points. For newer players, the pinwheels, balls, and fans can also be farmed at the beginner, intermediate, and advanced free quest stages, respectively, but at a much lower rate. Although once you have what you need from the event shop, you should immediately start farming points ASAP, because you're going to need a lot to clear the ladder. So always make sure that you're equipping those point boosting CEs to make it easier. And last but not least, we have the traditional challenge quest. You'll need to complete Solomon in order to take part in this challenge quest, but if you do, you're going to be up against Zhuge Liang, aka Waver, and Sei herself. For this battle, Zhuge Liang is going to have a break bar, and Sei is going to have 2 break bars. As for their skills, Sei is going to get a special buff whenever she uses her Noble Phantasm that increases her attack by 40% for 10 turns, but also increases your party's attack by 20% for 10 turns. At the start of the battle, Waver is going to give himself and Sei immunity to NP seal, and he's going to charge his own NP gauge to max so he can Noble Phantasm right away. If you break Sei's first break bar, she's going to increase her crit rate by 30% for 5 turns. After breaking her second break bar, she'll remove all debuffs on the party and charge her NP gauge by 1 tick. And if you break Waver's break bar, he's going to grant Sei ignore defense for 1 turn, invincibility for 1 turn, and charge her NP gauge to max. I don't know what it is about Valentine's events, but they really love to up the difficulty on challenge quests for these. I'm not going to beat around the bush, this one is a tough one. Basically, the name of the game for this challenge quest is stalling. You want to make sure that Sei never gets a chance to Noble Phantasm because she can snowball very hard from that attack buff. Not to mention that it's an AoE Noble Phantasm, so she can easily wipe your party. She is immune to NP seal however, thanks to Waver, and as an archer she already has a very short NP gauge, so it's a lot easier said than done. In addition to trying to prevent NPs from Sei, you should avoid attacking Waver at all costs, because breaking his break bar will result in him automatically setting up Sei for a powerful NP. The best way to navigate this challenge quest is to rely heavily on supports who have an NP drain to stall out Sei. So servants like Waver, Tamamo, Abby, and Yang are all going to be great, as are Archer Arturia and Uriel. Any servant with a Noble Phantasm drain should be in your front row and constantly draining Sei. Double Waver is especially good for this challenge quest because they can alternate Noble Phantasms to continuously drain Sei's Noble Phantasm gauge. And if you get lucky, they may even be able to chain stun her. Offensively, it's best to use art stall servants like Shi Huangdi, Arturia Archer, and Yang because they can all spam their NPs for damage while simultaneously draining Sei's NP bar. You can also bring in a hard defensive support like Jean, Merlin, or Mosh, since you can swap them in for an emergency situation when you need invincibility. And that's about all I have to say for this year's Valentine's event. It's a simple event, just farm points and use those chocolates to unlock your favorite servant's Valentine's Day scenes. Don't forget to use your friend chocolate for those mana prisms, and wait until the better nodes start to unlock before you start using apples to farm for points. But as always, if you have any questions, please do let me know in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed this video or it helped you, please do consider leaving a like and subscribing if you really enjoyed it. Follow us over on Twitter, join the party on our Twitch, and join us on Discord, all linked in the description down below. And until next time, this is Soberoni signing out. Later.